Souls of Mischief, 93 till infinity. Never heard it. With the exception of Tribe and Diggable Planets, in 93, the music I was listening to was a little harder, and the only artist from the Bay Area I was listening to at that time was probably Spice One and Too Short. Obviously, I know the single 93 till infinity, but I never went to the record store and put my money down. But I have to admit that the cypher, freestyle, battle rap type of MCing never really appealed to me. So groups like Freestyle Fellowship, Jurassic 5, Farside, even the group that Souls of Mischief belongs to, the Hieroglyphics, they were groups that I never really got into. I was more of a Ghetto Boys, 8Ball and MJG type guy. So now I'm gonna fix that. They come blazing out the gate will let you know. OPO starts out this album with so much energy, and every MC expands on that energy after that until Festo completely murders the last verse. This was a great start, but I have to admit this is kind of what I was afraid of. To me, this style of MCing sounds good for about 10 minutes and then it kind of loses its flavor. So while I like the song, I was kind of afraid that this is what I'm going to be in for the next hour. And then I heard Live and Let Live, which is a song I was not expecting to hear. This is more or less a song about gun ownership. Throughout the years, there's been songs like this before, like Ice Cube's Man's Best Friend, UGK's Why I Carry, Talib Kweli's Gun Music, but I never really heard it like this before. The overall feeling of the song is, look, I don't want to do it, I'm not proud of it, I don't promote it. I may look like a nice guy, but if you test me, I will kill you. And this is more or less summed up in the A+ line, why should you live in fear thinking someone is going to get you? I bet you, before he gets me, he'll be on a stretcher. Don't forget, these guys are from East Oakland. That's When He Lost is the second single from the album. It is the first of only 3 songs produced by Del the Funky Homo Sapien. Festo bodies his verse, but A+'s crisscross reference is probably my favorite part. On The Name I Call Myself, the Freddie Hubbard sample is heavenly to the point that I'm surprised Q-Tip didn't get to it first. The subject matter, girls. This Is How We Do is the B-side to 93 till infinity. I recognize the bass sample from Black Sheep, Hoes We Knows. The subject matter, rappity rapping. What a Way to Go Out is a song where the guys play devil's advocate and talk about how silly it is to be a gangster or a drug dealer or to have unprotected sex. It's a pretty cool song, but it's a little heavy-handed. I mean, Festo joins a gang and ends up killing his little sister, which I hope is not based on a true story. Never No More is the 3rd single off the album, and it did worse than That's When You Lost. It's a rappity rap song, but they're so clever with the wordplay, it's kind of hard to get mad at. Now we have the title track 93 till infinity, and hearing it in the context of the album, I get why it was the first single and why it's so infectious. It's the only song with an intro. I mean, literally, they're introducing themselves and telling you where they're from. Every other song on this album, you might get a 4-bar intro and then the intensity is immediately turned up to 10. On this song, they're way more relaxed. This is easily the most accessible song on the album, and not accessible because they dumbed down their skills. They still express those skills, but they did it in a more relaxed way. They literally chilled out. Unfortunately, this is probably why they never had a single as big as this one. The rest of the album doesn't really sound like this. Case in point, the next song, Limitations, which has a 1-bar intro before OPO goes in. Ironically, I think this would have made a pretty good follow-up single. It represents the album a little better, and it features the other hieroglyphics. We get Del the Funky Homo Sapien on the hook, and instead of Festo, we get Casual. And maybe that's why they didn't want to make it a single, because they didn't want to confuse people. Anything Can Happen feels like the logical follow-up to Live and Let Live. In the song, Tajay and his mom are at the mall and they see one of his friends from grade school who gets shot up in a drive-by, and his mom catches a stray bullet. Tajay calls up the rest of the Souls of Mischief and they kill the guy because anything can happen. Not a lot of groups do story raps in this way, and to hear it like this was kind of cool. The story in this one is pretty straightforward, so it never gets bogged down with too many characters. Make Your Mind Up is the second song without Festo. It's a pretty straightforward, I murder MCs for fun type song. I think Tajay comes off the best on this one though. Tell Me Who Profits is the last full song on the album, which gives us a few jewels before we get into the outro. I completely understand why this album is a classic. Before this, the only nationally recognized Bay Area artist that wasn't making mob music was Del the Funky Homo Sapien. This album has been very influential to a lot of other MCs. Outkast and Organized Noise have said this album was very influential to them. And if you watch the video for That's When You Lost and then watch the video for Players Ball, you can see the similarities. So yeah, absolute classic. There may be a few songs like Make Your Mind Up that maybe I would have taken off, but overall it's a pretty solid album. I'm really impressed by the fact that they could keep up the intensity for the entire hour and it wasn't boring. So yeah, I'll probably listen to this album again. So have you heard 93 Till Infinity? Are you still bumping it to this day? I'm going to keep reviewing albums until I run out. Until then, I am Free Tillman, the only guy on the internet that doesn't know everything. Peace.